Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Retrograde Entropy, and it has been almost 4 months, pretty much 4 months since I last did a vlog. So, as I may have mentioned last time, if you watched that video, I basically stopped doing vlogs because I was extremely worried about my chronic fatigue in the environment of the coronavirus, and I was very worried that I would be, tiring myself out. So I sort of shut everything down and said, I'm going to do the basics. I'm going to sort of deal with the lockdown. I'm going to deal with the split teams, which I had to deal with at my work, which I'm coronavirus lockdown BS has been going on for a lot longer than I would have liked, but yeah, that's just how it is, I guess. You just got to deal with that crap. So, and I got a terrible cough because I haven't done any casting in like 4 months, so my voice is completely and utterly not used to it anymore. But anyway, let's just give an overview of how the last 4 months have been going, why I've started casting again, and that sort of thing. So the good news is that my chronic fatigue has not gone backwards. As far as I can tell, it hasn't gone backwards at all. It's sort of stayed at the same level. Physically, definitely, it stayed at the same level that it was about 4 months ago. I'm still taking the same tablets. Haven't really changed that too much. Haven't seen my naturopath in person, so I've just been using the same medication and getting her to mail it out. So that's pretty good. Food has been pretty standard. Haven't really changed it up too much. I have been eating a little bit of takeout. I found a place like a week ago, and I tried it, and it did make me sick, which I was very happy about because every single place makes me sick. But this place didn't, so that's good. And my walking and my workout, I feel like are really important, but they've kind of been off and on, not doing them as much as I could, not really able to maintain that level. Part of it is there's the coronavirus. I live in Melbourne, and they put in a policy about a week ago that says if you go outside, you have to wear a mask if anywhere. And I hate wearing masks. They just stress me out. Well, they stressed me out at first. It got a bit better over the week, but I still hate wearing them. So I'm not doing my walks anymore. And it's good. So as far as the whole thing goes, my chronic fatigue has been pretty good. It's been pretty solid. I haven't really improved it. I was hoping after I came back to work to continue slowly improving it. That hasn't really happened, but at the same time, it hasn't really gotten worse like I feared it would. So overall, pretty happy with my chronic fatigue. Now, the problem, I have been having quite a few problems, and the other side of the problem is my Asperger's, is my stress. So that went up quite a lot. Well, it went up slowly, but it gradually went up until it peaked. I think it was last Thursday and Friday, just after they introduced the masks. So basically, this will be more of a Asperger's sort of discussion on and stress. Which stress does have a relation to chronic fatigue, but I don't think chronic fatigue was really the cause. It may have been a determining factor, like it may have contributed to the stress, but I think it was basically Asperger's. And one of the main things about Asperger's is you get into the point where a routine is really helpful. A routine is really nice, which is interesting because I think I went past that point. I think I went to the point where I sort of started depending on having a routine too much. Like I started relying on having a routine too much. And that is one of the things that I was hoping to sort of deal with. In terms of dealing with my Asperger's, part of it is dealing with getting outside your comfort zone and being comfortable and being able to handle it. And that was my plan, but of course, as soon as the coronavirus came, there was no time to do any of that, so I just sort of shut everything down, and then it just dragged on and dragged on. And I got... So usually I work from like 6 till 2, really early start, and they split us into shifts, and I asked to go on the 6 to 12 shift, but they put me on the 12 to 6 shift, so the afternoon shift instead. And there's a whole lot of mess about why they put me on the shift, and I wasn't able to get back on the morning shift, which kind of stressed me out because it was way outside my comfort zone. I wasn't happy about it, and I couldn't do anything to fix it. So that sort of, I think the fact that I couldn't do anything to fix it, more than just being on the afternoon shift, sort of caused my stress to go up. And it's sort of like over the first 2 months, I just sort of dealt with it. I was just like, whatever, screw this, I'll just deal with it. And then after 4 months, it was just too much. I think after 3 months, I went down to 4 days a week because I was getting too stressed. And then as soon as the mask came on, I just completely lost it. Like, I had massive panic attacks for like 2 days in a row, I think, at work right after the masks were introduced. And yeah, I was very, very worried that was going to continue on. But for as an interesting point, hang on, let me just get a drink for you. My voice is completely not used to this, so gonna have to give it a little bit. Yeah, the interesting thing was that because I got Asperger's, so I don't usually think there's a problem, but I think it was actually social connection, and in particular social connection in sort of talking about my problems, talking about my issues, was a pretty big determining factor, because I was kind of just swallowing it all up, just sort of dealing with it internally, and then, well, not really dealing with it, it was just sort of pushing it to the side or waiting for the lockdowns to finish so I could deal with it properly, like going to see a psychologist, which I'm still planning on doing. But yeah, that's another video. I need to talk more about why I need to go see a psychologist, but that's another video, because to be honest, I was planning on making this video long, but I got an Uber Eats order with a chicken parma, and it arrived just before I started this video, so I haven't eaten it yet, so I really want to go eat it. So that's probably what I'm going to do after this video, which means this is not going to be a long video, and it's just as well because I don't think my voice can take much more. It's been like 7.5 minutes, and my voice is already complaining, so I'm going to have to do some short videos for now on. But yeah, where were I? So it seems like I got over that stress. Like I'd like called my mum, I talked to her, I called one of my friends who actually trained as a psychologist for a while, and I talked to him and I got some feedback, and that actually helped immensely. And it's a very interesting thing, because with Asperger's, you kind of default to sort of, I'm just going to deal with everything by myself. I'm not going to go and talk to other people, because if I talk to other people, then there's a potential for getting more anxiety, because that's how Asperger's works. You get anxiety when you're around other people. It's just like a fact of life. But in this situation, it does seem like actually talking to other people actually helped the stress situation quite a bit. So I sort of bounced back from that. I'm sort of in a bit of limbo at the moment. I'm not too sure if this stress relief from talking to people is going to last. I have a feeling that the stress might slowly build up again over time. Like I sort of reset it by talking to people, which is the main reason I'm doing this video, because I'm hoping that this sort of interaction, even if it's just me doing one, I'm talking about my problems, that sort of thing. So I start doing this on a regular basis, maybe once a week, maybe twice a week, something like that. Will help deal with that stress, will help deal with that feeling of not having any social interaction. Even though it's, like I said, it's one way, I feel like it's getting the social interaction juices flowing, if you know what I mean. And yeah, get that sort of stuff going, and hopefully that will work. So yeah, that's just an interesting sort of start to the video, start to me starting to record anymore. But I guess the important thing is, for people who were following along with my chronic fatigue, it's all good. So my hypothesis has kind of bounced between two different points of view with chronic fatigue. The first is that your chronic fatigue can go worse slowly over time, gradually, if you don't work on maintaining it. And the second is that doing big stupid things just crashes your chronic fatigue down a lot very quickly. And obviously the second one is what caused the most of my problems at the end of 2017, when I went on that ski trip, when I was training for the marathon. That was the massive crash which caused my main chronic fatigue problems that I've been dealing with for 2.5 years. So I think we can pretty much say that that's worked. That theory is workable. That if you do something really, really big and really, really stupid, then it can have the long-lasting results. There's the low level sort of not working on it can sort of cause it to go backwards. I'm not sure if that's a workable solution at this point. I think, I don't know. If it's gone backwards, I haven't really noticed it. Although what has been happening is that since I'm on the afternoon shift, I get up and I don't have to go to work straight away. So I usually lie in bed. And since the lockdowns have been happening, I've had split shifts, I've usually lie in bed for like 10, 11 hours, which before the lockdowns happened, I was getting 7 hours sleep. I was bouncing out of bed. I was going to work. I was fine. Now I'm doing like 10, 11 hours. Some mornings I've even done 12 hours where I like only about 8 or 9 of them are actually sleeping. And the other 3, I'm just lying in bed playing iPhone games, which is absolutely awesome. I love my iPhone games. If play a game called Shop Titans, it's an absolutely awesome iPhone game. Quite addictive, but you know, what are you going to do? But anyway, so I've been spending a lot more time in bed just lying down because I'm on the afternoon shift. And I think that sort of indicates that maybe my chronic fatigue has gotten worse, but I've been automatically balancing against it by lying in bed for an extra few hours every morning. So kind of balancing it out naturally, if you know what I mean, which it actually does worry me if I go back to the morning shift. What'll happen with that? I may need to start doing afternoon naps or something like that, which I'm not a huge fan of. But yeah, we'll just see how it goes. For now, I'm stuck on the afternoon shift, so I do get a couple of extra hours in the morning. And yeah, so that seems to be sort of balancing out whatever chronic fatigue sort of problems. But yeah, I'm definitely, as soon as this mask thing goes away, I'm definitely planning on going out and doing walks every day, doing my workout every day back there. There's periods where I do it every day and then I sort of get stressed out and I stop doing it, and I do it like once or twice a week. And sometimes my hands get a bit messed up, but at this point, I think my tendonitis is kind of like my chronic fatigue. There's no point of no return as far as just using the computer. Like if you use the computer for a week and you don't work out and your hands start to hurt a bit, you go back, you exercise them. Worst comes to worst, you use this thing, you massage the crap out of your arms and your upper arms, and they seem to come back to normal. I've had a number of times where I've gone back to the point where it actually starts to hurt a bit, and it seems to come back. So, yeah, it's interesting. I'm sure if I do something really painful or really stupid, that I might cause more permanent damage. But what I'm doing right now, I got the good mouse, I got the good keyboard. Yeah, it seems to be okay. So anyway, that's I think that's where I'm going to leave it. My mouth is starting to. It's not hurting, but it feels very dry, very dry, and a bit creaky. I don't know what exactly that means, but it feels a bit creaky. So I'm going to stop here. Maybe do a bunch more, a couple more videos. I don't know, in a few days. Maybe I'll aim for like 2 videos a week. That seems like a good thing to aim for. And for you guys watching for chronic fatigue, I will be mainly moving over to Asperger's, I think. I'll still talk about chronic fatigue, but like I said, chronic fatigue at this point is basically just in a maintenance phase. I work out every day and walk every day. And if I get really tired, then I take a nap. And that's basically it. As long as I keep my medication, that's all I'm doing. And I think over time, it's going to slowly get better. But right now, it's at a point where it's not holding me back. I did have a couple of points where I was really, really stressed out. And the exhaustion just got a hold of me. And I did actually have to lie down for a little bit because it was all just piling on top and causing a bit of fatigue. But for the most part, no. As long as I get those few extra hours in the morning lying down, then it doesn't seem to worry me at all. And walking is not even a problem anymore. At this point, I don't get to the point where I feel tired from walking too much. Although I never walk more than 15 minutes, because I'm just like, after I walk like 7 minutes in one direction, I'm like, all right, I'll play it safe and I'll go back. And I never hit the point where I'm walking too much. Because of all this mess, I don't want to push myself too hard. So I might start pushing the time out. When the lockdown finishes, when I get back from split shifts into normal shifts, then I might start pushing my walking distance, maybe try for half an hour. See how I go, but definitely at the moment, no, not while this split shifts BS is going on. So anyway, I'm going to finish the video off there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope everybody out there who's suffering from chronic fatigue has been maintaining their levels of chronic fatigue during the pandemic. I know Melbourne and Australia are a bit of a faff at the moment. I think some other places are coming out of it and getting better. So hopefully you're in one of those places. Hopefully things are a little bit better. And yeah, hopefully you're all sort of, getting a hold of it. So anyway, that's going to be this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys later.